Is your following of the Lord motivated or dedicated? Because one is sure to fail. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. We're in it. We're in Lent. And Lent, right? Lent has its own unique character, but it's also a bit of like a microcosm of kind of the whole journey. And so my question for you, that we're going to have some real material to look into, is like, are my Lenten practices, my following the Lord, are they motivated or are they dedicated? Are they motivated or are they disciplined? Because if our practices and our fidelity to them is limited to when we're motivated, by this time in the journey, we're probably struggling quite a bit. But again, this is something that we can really focus in on during Lent, but is also part of how we're probably going about our whole life, right? If you're anything like me, and I bet in this regard you are, like a week or two before Lent, I'm putting together my Lenten practices, right? And I'm building up to like even Holy Week. Like I'm gonna fast here, and Holy Week I'm gonna be eating nothing but bread and drinking water, and it's like, and I'm gonna be praying, and I'm gonna be waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna do vigils, and I'm gonna do all this sort of stuff, right? Because at the time, before the journeys actually began, I am filled with motivation, and motivated me, who hasn't actually had to do anything. My goodness, what a life I'm able to live. You know what I mean? I am one holy, disciplined, faithful, generous dude. But once the journey gets going and I get a little bit less motivated, that whole thing can crumble pretty darn quickly, right? So, and if I'm limited, and if you're limited, in all of our different kind of commitments, right? Just getting like hyped up when we're motivated, we're not destined for success, right? And so I'm saying, are you like motivated or dedicated? Because it kind of like sounds better, but I really think like discipline is a better one, right? Because the question about whether or not in our different commitments, whether or not if it's in Lent or if our resolves to leave behind sin, to go deeper with the Lord. If we're making these kind of in this isolated box where we can just like get all fired up and motivated, right? That doesn't mean very much, to be honest. All of us, in sort of the comfort of our own room and space, can put together a pretty sweet plan of life. What's going to decide our fidelity, what's going to decide our follow through, is whether or not you and I can be disciplined. And disciplined and dedicated, right? It revolves really a capacity to be faithful and to be true and to keep our resolve and our resiliency when it doesn't feel good. Like what's going to separate one from the other, the sheep from the goats, if you will, the saint from the not saint, is when motivation's gone. When motivation is gone, do we still say yes? When the motivation is gone, are we still faithful? When sort of the appeal and sort of the fun and the novelty and the romance of a relationship, or of a practice, or of a prayer, or of some sort of sacrifice. Like when it's not sweet anymore and we're not motivated to keep doing it, what are we going to choose? What are we going to choose? Are we going to choose fidelity? Are we going to choose discipline? Are we going to choose that little death, which ultimately bears fruit? Or are we going to kind of settle for mediocrity? Mediocrity at best, to be honest. And so, my friends, I think I bring this up at this point because I do hope that at this point in the Lenten journey, almost certainly the motivation's gone. Almost certainly whatever your practices aren't really fun anymore. They feel like a little bit of a chore. Maybe it's a group. It's like, okay, I don't really want to go and make that extra holy hour every morning. I kind of want to my inertia is to stay on the couch. Hey, like let's just do a little gut check. Let's fire ourselves up a little bit. Like, are you going to be disciplined? Right? Because without discipline, there's no discipleship. Are you going to be disciplined? Are you going to keep your discipline? Are you going to keep your resolve? Are you going to do the hard things to be faithful to the Lord? I think you got it in you. I'm doing a little gut check myself. I think it's the right thing to do at this time of the season of Lent. And again, like by being faithful here in Lent, that fidelity and that choice to be disciplined when the motivation's gone, that's going to carry over in our dedication, in our commitments, and our fidelity in the Easter season, ordinary time, and on. You got this. Pray for me. I'm praying for you. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos. Poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. But we're going to make it little by little if we stay disciplined, right? All right. We'll see you again next week. Praying for you. Have the best Lent ever.